folks. Good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Sunday night. It is August 13th, 2023. Monday right around the corner tomorrow. Try to make the best of it. It is about 10:32 p.m. California time here. Going to give a shout out to the members at the end of this video, just FYI, which is coming up here in 2 days. 5.1 earthquake here into the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. That's the latest quake on the globe. USGS has not picked up on it yet. But it definitely seems to be a legit earthquake. I'm not seeing it show up here across the Japan station. It's well up here off the coast of Russia, as you can see. Pretty good distance here off the coast of Japan. So we'll continue to watch that. It's been awfully quiet here in that area over the, for a little while. We're still waiting on some larger scale movement there. Also a 4.5, pretty deep adjustment going on into the Tonga Trench. Almost 600 kilometer deep, so we got some good time adjustment going on up here across the northern edge of the Ring of Fire, Pacific Ring of Fire, and some adjustment going on down south here. So watch for, in this type of scenario, definitely watch for some major increasing activity here across the western Pacific. I believe firmly potentially here across the Mariana Trench, maybe the Izu Trench as well. Also Solomon Islands area looks to be a little on the quiet side once again, so watch these areas as we're seeing a return of deep movement and some adjustment going on roughly about the same time up here just off the coast of Russia. Alright, taking a quick glance here at the Northern California area. Did see some movement here earlier this morning just off the coast there of Eureka. That's a 3.8, 20 something kilometers deep there. 20, what is it? My mouse is a little glitchy here tonight. 23 kilometers deep into the Cascadia subduction zone. So let's let me go back over here real quick. I want to check something on the tremor map here tonight. 101 epicenters of tremor. Notice that down here across Northern California. How it's in a little linear fashion here. Well, this is about as far south as the Cascadia tremor goes. The San Andreas Fault is not a subduction zone, so we don't get that tremor activity occurring that we do once it begins roughly about here and it extends well up north off the coast of Vancouver Island ranges. So definitely seeing some activity out here. I believe that has to do with the movement this morning there for that 3.8 off the coast of Eureka. Looks like we may be accumulating a little bit of stress up there at the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. Also up north here off the coast of Vancouver Island range, a 2.2. Again, the Cascadia megathrust area sits just to the west here along that plate boundary. All right, Southern California, got a little spotty activity here on the San Andreas Fault. That's a southern segment, the Mojave section. South of Palmdale, a little swarming activity here. Looks like mostly some small quakes, but it is a little cluster of activity within the plate boundary there. For the most part, though, down south, further down south, very minimal activity. And look at the 2.5 map and above. Doesn't really show too much activity there, so let's move on here to Yellowstone. Just going to make this a really quick update. And we'll chat about our members here and recognize the folks here that have stuck around. Not a whole lot going on there on the Yellowstone map, as you can see, at all. No earthquakes really to speak of. Big Island of Hawaii, what do we got here? A little bit of bigger activity here north of Kilauea Volcano. Seen a 4.3 earthquake. Somewhat of a larger quake, 25 kilometers deep. Below this area, we have been noticing a swarm of activity here across the Kilauea Volcano. I believe things are starting to kick up and stir up below the surface here as far as magma movement goes once again. I don't think we've seen anything on the hazard notification, but we're just going to double check that from the HVO. There was an informational statement put out here in regards to that 4.3 earlier. A 4.3 earthquake occurred 4 miles northwest of a volcano on the island of Hawaii. The earthquake was widely felt, with over 279 felt reports in the first half hour. These earthquake parameters are preliminary. The finalized location will be available here, looks like sometime soon. The depth, location, and recorded seismic waves of the earthquake suggest a source near or in the oceanic crust due to the stress of a combination of the weight of Mauna Loa and Kilauea volcanoes. and their associated deep plumbing systems. This event had no impact on the status of either Mauna Loa or Kilauea volcanoes. And by the way, neither of those volcanoes are currently erupting, but with this increasing swarm here over the past couple days, and now some further deeper movement, we'll watch this. We could be seeing the stages here get set up. That thing really getting into gear once again. All right, Alaska area as well. Couple twos across the Aleutian Trench, it looks like. New Zealand area, not seeing a whole lot of activity here. Kermadec Trench northward looks pretty active, but definitely remain vigilant out here with the activity stirring up here north and south. Keep an eye on the western areas of the Pacific Ring of Fire. I would say we got a swarm of activity going on up here across the Iceland area. Notice that. USGS reporting one earthquake up there, 4.5. But apparently it looks like some major activity going on across one of these volcanoes here. Let me see what the EMSC is reporting real quick. The world map. Zoom in up here real quick. It looks like it's just around the Rick James area along the plate boundary itself. Not for sure specifically about any volcanoes right out here, but I would say that's a pretty good amount of earthquake activity kicking up here off the coast of the Iceland region. So keep an eye on that for sure. We'll have to, when I have a little bit more time, we'll cover that in the morning. But for now, big time swarm going on across the area there off Iceland coast. All right, as far as the rest of the Atlantic goes, looks like we did have one up north here as well. 4.0 from earlier today, it looks like, as well. Aside from that, things, I don't know, kind of looking like they're stirring up a little bit here. North and south, down here across the South Sandwich Islands and well up on the northern section here of the globe. So, something brewing. Big time stuff possibly getting ready to get into motion out here. All right, space weather activity. Definitely continue to watch that, though. Got a little coronal hole activity facing us currently from the northern hemisphere and also down south. I don't think these are going to be geo-effective at all. The 3-day forecast looks pretty green across the board, meaning that there's not a whole lot of space weather activity in the Aurora department to chat about. As far as flaring activity goes, very minimal at best. We've noticed a massive degrading area here of a sunspot. It used to be somewhat dynamic, and also this area right here is rapidly declining. We're left with potentially a sunspot area to watch here. Notice this one starting to grow pretty rapidly. A couple newer ones also on the eastern limb that we'll continue to monitor here in the coming days. Right now, 95% chance for a C flare, M flare at 20% chance, and X flare remains at 1% chance. Real quick glance here at our members. We do like to recognize the members out here that have been with us for the duration. We're down to about 57 members, so a little drop from last month, which means it means the pot here is smaller, and your chances of winning out here come the 15th here in a couple days are much greater. Wes Hayer, thank you very much for being a member here 1 month. Jeannie. Is that Jeanne or Jeannie? Jeannie Baker, 4 months. Angela Willock, 10 days. Kathleen, 4 months there. I think you've been a little bit longer than that, but thanks for rejoining there. Jen Teal, channel supporter, 16 days. Thank you very much for being a channel supporter. Bitter Harvest, that's an interesting name there. Superfan, 22 days. George Harden, 23 days there for Superfan. Arlita Javika, Superfan, thank you very much for rejoining. MST Pair, Superfan. Kathy Doan, 7 months. Goodness. I am not for sure how to pronounce that, so I don't want to slaughter it. But Freeland here, Superfan for 1 month. Ruth Kahn, 4 months. Time of Truth, 1 month. Maria Park, look at that, 13 months here. Thank you very much for staying with this channel. Timothy, Superfan as well, coming up close to 1 year as well, 9 months. thank you very much for rejoining. Sacktown Amy, 2 months. Love and Blessings, 2 months. Amanda Little, 3 months. Rebecca Biggs, 2 months. The Dot Hacker, it looks like, 2 months. Elizabeth Warman, 4 months. Rob 52, well above the year mark, 14 months. Dolores Venezuela, 14 months. Jay Fuentes, 347, 14 months. Some of our longest standing members right here. Philip Mint, 2 months. Nana, channel supporter. And Lilu as well, channel supporter. Thank you very much for opting in on that. 3 months and 4 months, respectfully. Linda Eaton, 5 months. Alan, superfan member, 4 months. Unimportant Entertainment, 4 months as well. Matthew Dittman, 5 months. Lucy Maker, 6 months. Purple Bullet, thank you very much for remaining a member. Reached the year mark here. Craig England, 7 months. Deep, 7 months here. Helen Horn, 7 months. Alicia Stanford, 12 months. A year. Goodness. Laura Bonnet, 8 months. And Dean Baumberger, 8 months as well. Clayton, 10 months. Hurricane Heather, 10 months. Janice, 10 months. Juno James, Mike Moses, Joycelyn Berzik, all 10 months right here. Catherine Poors Peace, 11 months. Judy Menzel, 12 months. Betty Kelly, 12 months. Nancy Kozowski, 12 months as well. John Didier, 14 months. Look at that. I can't believe we've been doing that long. That's crazy. To Bash Mode, thank you very much for being a member for a year. Joelle Kozowski, 12 months as well. 13 months for Pamela Conley. Ray Addington, Hope and Feathers, and Robert Kozowski, 14 months here. So some of our longest term members here on the channel. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us. It definitely means a lot. We're getting very close to the 100,000 subscriber mark. And once that happens, obviously there'll be a much bigger drawing taking place here soon once we hit that mark. But for now, definitely keep an eye on the Pacific Plate. There's a lot going on out here underneath Hawaii, up around the northern rim here, and big time swarm going on out here across the Iceland area. Not for sure what the status is out there across some of the volcanoes, but it looks like this activity is stirring up south of the land there off of Iceland coast. All right, folks, we'll catch you guys back here a little bit later on. Have a good night, and enjoy the rest of the Sunday night, Monday tomorrow. Take care.